outperforming the S&P, more volatile than the S&P that you can put on your balance sheet.
Volatility sometimes is not always a good thing. I mean, it's great when something's going higher. But don't think that there'll be a drop or a significant drop that comes along? Have we moved past that because of the regulatory changes that have taken place?
I think it'll remain volatile because it's a 24/7, 365 global asset. You can panic sell it on Saturday night. You can enthusiastically buy it on Sunday morning. That's a feature. That's not a bug.
Yeah, you've lived through some of the swings, but do you think we won't see the downturns like we've seen in the past just because of the changes we've seen?
I think it's going to surge through the roof, and then it's going to surge to 180 and crash to 140, and people will be freaking out about it again. But let me make this one analogy. Volatility is like fire, and some people run away from the fire, but Henry Ford put the fire into a carriage via an engine, created an entire industry, and he gave humanity wings.
Can we talk about? So I've been leading up to for me and for everybody to understand your tweet just from I think in the last hour. So what did you do last week with the Treasury operations? You were able to generate a Bitcoin yield of 2.55%, or over almost 10,000 Bitcoin to shareholders using an arbitrage. Can you explain? Will I be able to understand this if you explain this?
We sold $1.5 billion worth of stock, backed by $500 million worth of Bitcoin.
Okay.
We bought back $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. We captured nearly $1 billion gain in the arbitrage. That we can do with equity day by day. When we do it with debt, we issue $3 billion of debt that's backed by $600 million of Bitcoin that comes due in 5 years. We pay 0% interest. We buy $3 billion of Bitcoin. We capture the $2.4 billion in the arbitrage gain up front. But then over the course of the 5 years, we double or we quadruple the investment because we're buying an asset which is appreciating faster than the S&P.
What you told me was that it's 55% premium over conversion, but a zero coupon. Is that?
Yeah, that was a zero coupon 55. And you can do that because Bitcoin is high vol, and the companies that have Bitcoin on their balance sheet have even higher volatility. So Mara is a great example. 2 weeks ago, they did $1 billion convert, zero coupon to buy Bitcoin. This week, they're back in the market doing another $1 billion convert, zero coupon to buy Bitcoin. Rinse and repeat that frequently.
Tell me what you think or told Microsoft that they should do, and what are the chances that happen?
Microsoft is buying its own stock back, it's buying bonds, it's dividending out cash flows. If they simply swept their existing cash into Bitcoin, it probably adds $1 trillion to the market cap and $150 to the share price. If they converted the dividend into Bitcoin, adds another $150 to the share price, another $1 trillion to the market cap. If they replace the buybacks with Bitcoin, instead of surrendering the capital, they invest the capital.
But listen, I've been in the army and it's really
price. If they just take a little bit of leverage, they basically take 10% leverage on a huge stack of Bitcoin, they add another $1 trillion. So what I'm saying is, instead of surrendering the capital and then leveraging up the company, right now Microsoft trades at 20 times forward expectations. So or I'll say 95% of the enterprise value of Microsoft is based on expectations, is the best way to say it, right? And that means it's very asset poor, it's expectation rich.
Oh, they kicked me from the room. They kicked me from the room. It's fucking hilarious. Like they give a fuck who Adrian Titman is.
Like Jim Bro, or we start to, everybody, we're here to study the Bible, great. It's one day of studying the Bible, and then it just becomes conversation. And I'm like, okay, if that's what I know it's going to be, but now you've messed my brain up, because my brain is like, this chat is going to blow up with notifications because it's going to be about the Bible, right? But now all of a sudden, it's about your mom's ingrown toenail and what you're doing in 6 months. I just can't.
Shout out to Kev G in the audience. Good morning, brother.
Yeah, it's unusually docile this morning.
I love Kevin's entry statement.
Like, you guys are complaining, but I'll take this over like one mic, stop interrupting me. Hold on, stop moving the goal. That's just like, this is so much better than that.
Why? This is pointless. Why are we here? Like, we all should just leave.
Courtney,
quietly.
stop gaslighting me now. You're moving the goalposts and being very disingenuous. Like, I hadn't finished. I hadn't landed my plane. Okay, one mic.
There was a pause.
You can go on mute. Well, like you see, wasn't it better before we went all through this nonsense?
I guess it depends.
I got a story to tell.
181. Oh my gosh. Okay, go tell it, please. Save me from this 181 unread text messages that another commenter this.
All right, so
My neck.
hold on. Okay, I'm back. Am I interrupting anybody? No, you're good. All right, so Courtney, so I went to a get together, and my wife has a ton of friends, and their husbands are just weird to me. I'm just gonna throw it out there. But one of her friends' husbands was staring at me the entire night, and you know I'm a confrontational person. So I pulled him to the side and I just simply asked him, "Do you have a problem with me? Is there something we need to figure out?" He said no, everything was fine. Then he goes home and tells his wife that I threatened him and he felt afraid and she needs to talk to me. To ask someone if they have a problem, is that threatening? I mean, I just don't think so.
I got
absolutely
I got
can't
a
be a problem.
question. Yes, I got a few questions. Was he wearing skinny jeans tighter than your wife's?
I don't know. I wasn't looking at him like that. Like, he just kept staring at me. And I wasn't trying to be confrontational, but dude, like, is there an issue? I'm checking in.
Was his hand a little heavy at the wrist?
Possibly.
Did he have some sugar in the tank?
Did you guys see the SNL sketch where they have the fight at Thanksgiving because they say beep beep to each other when they're trying to get by? And that results in, like, gunplay at Thanksgiving. Like, if beep beep can be a threat, then getting in someone's face and looking at them and be like, "Hey man, you got a problem?" Like, that can absolutely be a threat.
So I'm thinking he might have thought you were a little, and now he realizes you're a no diddy kind of man. And maybe now he's like, I'm scared for my life. Tell his wife to tell him to stop.
Well, and my thing is, if I come and talk to you one-on-one, then you tell me. You know what I mean? Like, man-to-man, face-to-face, you tell me. And I'm not a threatening person, but in the same breath, like, I'm also not going to shy away from a potential conflict.
Jason, you're thinking too rationally. And notice what you said, man to man. Notice it. You said man to man. This might have been a man to effeminate man kind of situation. You know what I mean? You know, low-key living the lavender marriage lifestyle. So his wife may not really be his wife. You know what I mean?
And Jason, what you have to remember is you're wearing a checkered flannel jacket. So the man you were speaking to might have been misled to believe you're Canadian. And people are very scared of Canadians, particularly Canadian lumberjacks. They see them as burly, masculine, violent things. So maybe the privilege of the flannel was at play here. It's possible. I'm still shaking my head. Now so my wife is trying to get me to take him out to dinner to try to resolve it.
No, your wife's trying to set you up with a. Come on now. Tell your wife that's not how we men handle You might be going out with a sin. Bro may come back home to his wife and be like, everything's fine now, baby, thank you.
Yeah, don't volunteer me to go to dinner with somebody. So do you guys get into like any like general discussions based on like United States founding fathers, like for an example that
That's oddly specific.
well, yeah, like usually I try to like get the atheist or the secularist to like engage with this topic in a sense of the United States fundamentally being Christian. It's only secularist in a sense where
I'll engage.
it's like the point here is to like allow for like other nuanced and differences and like independent thought.
Now we got
like
my attention.
I was about to say, I feel like I was called a
Well, go. Take it away. I don't know about you
okay.
guys, but I'm fixing to drive.
And before we get going, do you take the position that it is or that it is not a Christian nation?
Yeah,
I would say fundamentally it's
I don't know nothing about what you're saying. So.
I would say fundamentally it is a Christian nation. However, there are like I said, like some nuances.
I would take the position that it could be argued to be Christian purely because of the population and its preference, not because of necessarily any other aspect.
Jay, random is a atheist, by the way.
So are you arguing on the basis of like modern times or like when the founding fathers were like writing the Constitution?
All of the above.
Yeah, I think we just simply agree there. I don't think we have any divergence here.
Yeah. So some of the, we'll say, founding fathers, as it is a bit of a vague term in reality based on the history, but simplistically, the founding fathers, not all of them were Christian. Like that's just
I
true.
They were predominantly Christian. The majority of them were. Some of them were deists. So they still had a fundamental principle where they believed in God. They just didn't think God interacted.
I would posit some of the most, or at least based on our knowledge, maybe, or our understanding of what was happening at that time, some of the most predominant ones were the deist ones, not the Christian ones.
Here's what I think is funny is we're going to argue over whether or not a person was a deist or a theist when they don't explicitly state it. What's the point? Honestly, because it's conjecture. Well, some of them did explicitly state
Absolutely,
it.
and I really want to I agree, and I want to make sure that I affirm, like, hopefully my wording did affirm that as well, that, like, it is conjecture based on our understanding.
Yeah, because it's weird to be like, this dude who doesn't, state it, or is vague in his verbiage, is like 100% deist, 100%.
Well, we can get it saying, based on, like, the average Christian standards, Jefferson was not a Christian.
Well, okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. But certainly, I'm just getting at the factor here that fundamentally, this country was based in the Constitution was written by people influenced by ideas of believing in some type of a deity or a god. They were theists.
Yeah,
most
everyone was at that time. Right?
Sure, yeah. Like, most people were, if they weren't, like, especially over in America, in New America, were either Christian or deist. Like, there is not any notable indication that anybody was, like, atheist.
I mean, you have to go back further to decide kind of what was going on there, because this nation was 100% founded. Courtney just dipped. She's like, I'm out of here. She does not care. This nation was absolutely founded on Christian principles, Christian ethics, and, that sort of thing. But that's because of what was going on in England with the church at the time, right? And how the distance over the ocean impacted communication and difference of thought and political movements. But if you look at Thomas Paine, who is largely influential in the thought processes that started the revolution, I mean, that was 100% a Christian flavored thing. But in their wisdom, the founding fathers set up a nation where Christianity was not required to perpetuate the system, which is brilliant.
Well, I would
right. So it's not a theistic.
Right. I would go farther to posit that the intent was not to be like, the intent was not to be founded in Christianity so as kind of like in another way to be called a Christian nation. It was intended it was intended to be have a foundation form of secularity. With an undergirding
of secularity.
like with an undergirding of the populace being Christian, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's like implicitly secularist. I mean, there may be like some ideas, but even the more predominant Christians that, like, you know, for an example,
because there was no, like, in any of the like main like significant documents, there weren't any like significant, this is our desire for this to be a Christian nation, our desire for this to be founded in Christianity, insert Christian theological like pillar here. Like, it was intended to be secular. And I'd even concede that, like, with a kind of like maybe belief or understanding that Christianity kind of permeated and or held up said secularity.
Yeah. I can agree with that. That's definitely. Have you actually ever read the Secular Humanist Handbook before?
I have not.
Yeah, it's an interesting read.
I do often disagree with either specific statements or generalized approaches of my fellow atheists, so maybe I'm a bit abnormal in that man.
No. I'd say it's actually definitely showing itself. Usually I try to get somebody like heavily committed to a point where it's like, okay, it's influenced by Christianity. We have to like reject all notations of that and make a strong argument on the basis of like secularism, which is not. I mean, I can actually like agree with. Yeah, I can agree on your prior statement there. So
maybe I could get a little more of a hot take and say that I think the strength in the actual documentation itself and the structure as intended, like with the structure itself, not the undergirding, is what makes it so successful because of the secular intent.
Yeah, I would actually disagree with that. I think there's a heavily fundamental, influence based on morality, social contracts, English common law. All these practices are rooted in these.
Sure, like I could accept and agree with the argument that, like, if one looked at it simplistically, one could see, like, or even claim, if the morality intended for, like, upon America's conception was Christian. However, beyond that simplicity, I would posit that John Locke, a very prominent influence in the whole process, as well as others, hinted at this idea that, like, people have found moral, we'll just say, tenets that work, and Christianity had many of those moral tenets. And so it appears as though it's Christian, but I think that the stronger influence is just the humanity over time finding these quality or let's say society constructive moral tenets and keeping those.
Well, I think the only emphasis here that I can agree on is that what they were originally trying to do was to, like they're trying to be independent of religious authority based on the overlap with like government. So I think this is what they were trying to avoid. Now, I don't think that necessarily makes an entailment or a strong case that it's overly secularist in nature. In fact, I think that's really the only secularist concept as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'd say that the moral tenets, in the manner that I was getting at, the moral tenets don't necessitate a Christian-specific foundation. Like, it may have emerged from a, we'll say, moral evolution in Christianity throughout many, many years, but those moral tenets that are constructive to a society don't need Christianity to maintain its form or be a base.
Yeah, but didn't even John Locke, as you outlined here earlier, based on biblical, context here, made strong contributions based on natural rights. So I mean, that's yeah.
I mean, yeah. You could make a claim of natural rights without making specific reference to Christianity specifically, or any specific theist theology. Right? In the sense that, like, if you just get everybody to agree that these are things that we're going to treat as natural, let's say rights, then we're good. That's all that's necessary. It's, some more in-depth theology isn't necessary.
Yeah, I put it to you that if the framers of the Constitution had all been Muslims, they could have written the exact same Constitution, making the exact same appeals to natural law and English common law. And so the existence of an inherited religious tradition, or the existence of a moral code that prohibits killing and stealing, and the mention of a God who isn't described, doesn't get you across the bridge to say this Constitution is Christian.
I don't think Muslims would have come up with the same document at all, ever. Like, the elements of the Constitution are entirely antithetical to Islam at their core.
Well, sure, but they're not necessarily antithetical to, like, anybody that more loosely, let's say, holds to Islam. Not exactly a firm, fervent believer, but one who kind of, like, vaguely attaches themselves to it. Or would you call that person
not a Muslim?
Okay. All right. That's
okay.
You know what?
But like, my point isn't about Islam. My point is about the Constitution, and it could be another religion. And the decision not to mention the Trinity, not to mention Jesus Christ, or describe God in the Constitution of the United States of America wasn't an omission. They specifically chose not to do that.
So, what I was actually going to go on to here is, so natural rights, for an example, in the Bible, the sanctity of life is a key biblical principle. You shall not murder, Exodus 20:13. And then there's also God created mankind in his own image, Genesis 1:27. So, I would see these verses as affirming the inherent value of human life as created by God.
Repeat that. I just want to make sure I understood.
So the right to life, for an example. So you have life, freedom, and liberty in the pursuit of happiness. I'm just going with the right to life as an example. So one key biblical principle here is you shall not murder. So it's Exodus 20:13. And so God created mankind in his image, Genesis 1:27. So these verses affirm the value of human life as created by God.
All right. The repetition didn't help. I'm going to ask a clarifying question. Are you saying that, let's say, we'll say social law, or the law do not murder, and kind of like taking a step back and saying that, we'll say, moral pillar, maybe not pillar, maybe pillar is the wrong word, but for lack of a better term, and as I'm going, of not killing or murdering, are you saying that is or can only come into significance in a society via Christianity?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to stew on that for a little bit because there could be other answers to it.
Well, I'd go farther, obviously, to say it's certainly not isolated to Christianity. And so, like, sure, saying that Christianity says don't murder, and then we have a law that says don't murder, we'll say in kind of simplistic wording here, like, look, it's Christian, like, that's just, it's just not a good.
No, I think he's appealing to the fundamentalness of that it's not just like in England already it was illegal to murder, right? And for thousands of years in other cultures it had been not okay to murder. There were penalties for murdering. What he's saying is that this is a document that established the reason it's not okay to murder is because those rights are granted to you by a creator, and here the right to life and liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
And therefore, we have a government that's being established not to give those rights, but to protect them because they're already there. Like, that's what was unique in the American Constitution.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm getting at. Thank you, Stan.
I can see that argument. I'm not convinced by it, only because at that point in time, a reference to a natural source, or kind of like we'll say what a natural law would come from, was popular and convincing to most people. And so, like, that's the wording choice because it was effective.
So your argument is that it's popular and it has absolutely nothing to do with something that comes from like outside of yourself. It's so everybody was. That's your argument?
No, I'm saying that everybody. There's also a reason at that point in time that pretty much everyone was a theist of some shape or form, is because they believed in a deity at that time. And so making loose reference to a deific being as a source of said morality is, obviously, like it's obvious to me.
So if I may ask, where do you get your moral oughts or ought-nots from?
That's a fair question. I generally get it from a goal of being a part of and perpetuating a constructive society, a society constructive to human flourishing.
Okay, so you're going to go based on the general consensus of what's popular, and you appeal to that at that sense,
No.
but you don't appeal to this way?
No, I said what is constructive to to the flourishing of a human society.
Yeah, construction to flourishing in a human society. I mean, this is like one thing you will find in a secular humanist.
Well, that's not always popular. It's not always what is popular, for clarity.
Yeah, but what are you basing that? Like in utilitarianism?
Yeah, a little bit in utilitarianism, a little bit in some other methodology.
Okay, so based on your personal preferences, then.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so it's not because it's popular; it's because of one individual. So,
But I'm making
Okay.
reference to what was the case in history. I'm not making reference to like my beliefs now.
okay.
Like we can talk about that certainly, but like I'm just kind of like looking at it through the lens of how things were or could have been formed in the context in which they were formed.
So hypothetically, if you was there to help write this document, and based on what you just said, would this be included in the document, or like how would you argue not to have that in there? If you did want to go on the basis of like popular general consensus, because that's what everybody thought of the time, that this is wrong. Like hypothetically, how would you handle that? Would it be based on your personal preferences, and you would be imposing your view to not have it in there? That's kind of like what I'm getting.
So the hypothetical has a little bit of nuance to it, because if I lived at that time and didn't know what I, have the knowledge of what I do now, I very well might be a theist of some shape or form, in the same way that Jefferson and Franklin.
Yeah, but they obviously like also agreed to have this in there as well.
Right, and I think I would agree. Like in that point in time, as I think about it now, if I myself were there, I might even agree to have it in there as well, because it's a fact.
And the other issue here is like just because like Jefferson, for an example, didn't adhere to strict like religious dogma. Like in fact, most of them didn't. They were escaping this because they mostly were predominantly Protestant. So, yeah, like they were still influenced by Christian values. I mean, was Jefferson a deist or was he a Christian?
I think we already covered that. I would say that Jefferson was definitely a deist. Well, honest. You know what? I'm going to backtrack that, because I don't think I can say with confidence definitely. I mean, think about the Jefferson Bible and why the Jefferson Bible was what it was.
Okay, all right, almost caught you there.
I don't know what do you mean caught me? I'm sorry. I'm not forgive me, and I'm going to be a little bit pithy here. I'm not approaching this conversation to entrap and catch you. Are you approaching the conversation differently?
Maybe a little bit, man. I'm just having a little bit of like a back and forth and a general discussion. And
Okay.
I'm just trying to see where you're at and poke holes in your logic. But I don't know, man.
All right, fair enough. Just I would point out that maybe approaching the conversation a bit much in the "I'm going to catch him" is a little bit disingenuous to an honest conversation.
Okay.
We made it 3 hours without anyone being called disingenuous. There we go.
Why does the word or the phrase disingenuous get tossed around often?
Oh, it's one of those clubhouse things, like moving the goalposts or one mic. Yeah, it's a joke.
Okay, that's fair.
Good morning,
Anyway.
everybody. Thank you for bringing me to
We came to a general conclusion here at this point.
As real quick, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but as this is Nate's room and the general way that Nate operates, Thug just came in and he does give time to new people, and I don't want to hog. Even though I was enjoying the conversation, I don't want to hog the.
I think I'm the only mod here. Thug, welcome to the stage. How are you today?
Good, great. Thank you for bringing me up.
You are welcome. I didn't realize I was the only one at the wheel. Go ahead. How can we help you today?
Okay, I was drawn by the title of the room, Ask a Christian. We got answers.
We might.
It's a question.
We might have some answers.
Okay, well, that'd be good if you can answer this one question. What time period did Noah exist?
Noah would have been a good 3,000 to 4,000 years before Christ.
Okay, so we're talking maybe 3,000 to 4,000 BC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my premonition is that the story of Noah is false. And the reason why I say that the story of Noah is false is because just of that time period, which was just mentioned, 3000 to 4000 BC, we're saying that God told Noah to replenish the earth. That's impossible for that event to have happened, that we have the several different cultures of people on the earth that have an ancient history that predates Noah and never cease to exist. The lineage of their dynasties and what have you surpassed the story. So it could not have been a flood, according to the biblical text, of a man replenishing the earth with, the 8 people who were on the ark, 2 animals of every kind. We don't even have to go into the nuance of how did the polar bear get there, or the Nile Valley crocodile, or these animals who are specific to one region of the planet. We don't have to go into those nuances, but the underlying, and I'm gonna land here, the underlying fact for me about the non-existence of this story is that the time period in which this man allegedly existed in does not correlate with history. And we know history don't lie. I'm done speaking.
Does the Bible claim it was a global flood?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Where?
In the verse where he speaks, it speaks about after the 40 days and 40 nights of the flood, God told Noah, replenish the earth. When you replenish the earth, it's not just Judea. He didn't say just Sumeria. He didn't say just Egypt. He said the earth. So to replenish the earth means that you have to rehabilitate life on the earth, not in just one region. So there is where is the underlying that says that the whole earth flooded.
Also, Doug, it's beneficial to point out the water level that is declared in the Bible.
Where?
Where? I didn't really understand. That's why you said about the water level.
The water level, when it declares how high above the mountains the water level went.
Yeah.
It's descriptive of that in the Bible.
I will concede I haven't read it in a little bit, but
it says there was no visible land. So yes, we can safely say that there.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm in Genesis 8, and I'm scrolling through to see the part that you're saying about repopulate the earth. Noah built an altar. Okay, here we go. 8:17. Bring with you every living thing that is with you, the animals, the creeping thing. They may swarm the earth. So here's the word earth, okay? This is the word eres, and this is used multiple times, this word eres, throughout the story of Noah. Eres has multiple definitions. Do you want to hear them?
No, ma'am.
The earth.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. The earth, sometimes used as the whole earth as opposed to a part. Sometimes used as the earth opposed to the heavens. Sometimes used as the inhabitants of the earth. It could also mean land, a country, a territory, a district, region, tribal territory, piece of ground. Often referred to as simply the land of Canaan or Israel, could be called Eres. The inhabitants of a specific land, sometimes referred to as Sheol, the land without return. Could also mean a city or state. Eres is used to describe the ground or the surface of the earth or the soil. It goes on. There's 4 more. This is not a highly specific word that means globe. It says it flooded the land. Now, you're going to find many Christians who disagree with me, but I find it no, not pretty much. Oh, you're here.
I'm back.
Welcome back. So we do have histories of ancient China, right, that far predate, or Native Americans that far predate the dates of the Noahic flood, right? So because God is not the author of confusion, and also because this word used is so vague, just like the word yom for day in Genesis 1, we don't need to, you'll go next. We don't need to die on hills that don't need to be died upon. When it says Christ was God and it's explicit, that's a hill we need to die on. We do not need to die on the hill of Eris here being the global Earth. Okay, go ahead.
Must be a global flood for a bunch of reasons, but I don't have time to get into it right now because I'm at church.
No,
But
that's
we
not
can talk
fair.
about it
You
different
you
time.
don't get to refuse and then not refute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like the normal position for most Christians for the last 2 millennia has been it is a global flood, and we also see flood stories in literally every single civilization on Earth.
Well, here's the part. I don't want to get derailed with definitions, right? Because I guess it's going to boil down to interpretation, and we'd have to get the interpretation of every person who is a Christian or whatever. The underlying fact that I'm presenting is the non-factual existence of this man named Noah. Now, if the time period you're alleging is 3,000 to 4,000 BC, we can go to the different histories of the planet, to those regions of the world where these people existed. We have South American ancient history, we have Asian ancient history, we have European ancient history, we have African ancient history. We have many different ancient histories of that time period of 3,000 to 4,000 BC. Now, when we say in the Bible that this man survived the flood, right? He survived the flood and gave life back to all of these histories that, according to the archaeology and anthropology of these people, never ceased to exist. There is the fallacy, right? If you're saying Noah is the progenitor of the Hindu civilization, that is a lie. If you're saying Noah is the progenitor of the Olmecs, that is a lie. If you're saying that Noah is the progenitor of the Egyptian dynasties after 3000 BC, that is a lie. All of this will point to the fact that this is not a fact of Noah's existence, just the archaeology and anthropology alone of the time period in which you're mentioning. And I'm done speaking.
Yeah, so go ahead, Chris. Hold on, Adam. Go ahead, Chris. Do you want to refute what he just said since
Yeah,
you derailed it?
Yeah, so all these histories that we're talking about, the 3 to 4,000 BC would just be an estimate, and so I don't know why people think that this is such a killer for a global flood. It's just silly, and so for you to say that the Bible is lying is a pretty heady claim there, my.
Well, the reason why I made that claim, I don't know if you was at your phone when I first made the claim. I asked the first question, right? That's what drove me to the room. With the title of "Ask a Christian, We've Got Answers." So the question that I asked was, what time period did Noah exist? And the lady above Steph, I think is the name, she said 3,000, 4,000 BC. Okay, granted, let's go with that number, right? Because most of the time when I ask this question, people don't know, right? I've asked several different cultural references of different people who believe in scriptures. I've asked Jewish people, Christians, like you name it. Anybody that has a belief in the system of Noah, I've asked them, and most of them didn't know. But I got a couple of people. Somebody said 2,500 BC. So I gave Noah, if he existed, right? I gave him a modest estimation. I said between 4,500 and 5,500. I gave him 2,000 more years from Steph's answer. But even at that point, right, if we took him back 2,000 more years from 3,000 BC or 4,000 BC and gave him an estimate of 5,500 BC, we're talking about him being the progenitor of every ethnicity after him. That's what we're talking about. And now when we look at the archaeology and the anthropology of ancient civilizations that existed of that time, absolutely no way possible is that true, because the existence of these civilizations never ceased to exist. Their histories and their artifacts prove it, and the story of Noah is not one single iota of evidence that this man even walked the planet. I'm done speaking.
Okay, so let's go with the story is not true, and we're gonna go with which story of how you got here do you want to go with?
Well,
go with the
Go ahead.
Would you like to go with the completely secular evolutionary story?
No, sir, absolutely not.
So
You said evolution.
Pick one.
Okay,
So
but
pick one.
wait. Hold on a second. You said pick. Hold on. But before, right? Because what I'm doing is like, I came here because of
try and say that you want to pick apart, like, put me in some hole where you can try to pick apart my position. I'm not trying to figure out how. I'll tell you outright, I have no nefarious plans. What I'm trying
I think what he's saying is fair. Like, it's Christianity that's on the hot seat here. Like, that's the title. So to turn around and interrogate him about some secular view.
No, because the reason why what I'm not trying to get any catch. I'll be very open what I'm trying to do. If you're trying to pick apart Christianity because you have a question on the narrative, then if your alternative narratives have all the same questions, then all you're left with is a question. So I'll grant you the question, how did civilization go so fast? But I'll also show you that you have no historical, archaeological, other religious texts that don't have the exact same question. So all we have is, which we have all over life, everywhere, is a question of not understanding either genetic mutations or the spread of civilizations, which I agree with your question, but evolution has the exact same problem. It actually goes a much farther degree, and they have no answer. It goes way too fast for it to make any sense according to the models. And so we have a question. Big deal. I have questions. You want me to go through all the questions we have, or a bunch more? Okay, so here's where you're missing out at, right? Because of your frame of reference, right? Your only frame of reference is European history. You won't see anything outside of what has already been dictated. I gave you the latitude to pick. Hold on, I didn't cut you off, sir. So your only reference, according to any biblical, Quran, Torah, any text of a religious ideology that you can muster is from a European ideology. Right? Because Europeans have conquered many different countries on this earth, they have written the history. They are the ones who have written what they want people to know. But because of today's time, we have unearthed the civilizations and the ancient history that have preceded European.
I'm going to pause you there. What part of ancient Judaism is European?
What part of ancient Judaism?
Yeah.
The current form. Wait, what current part form of ancient Judaism? That's interesting. No. Hold on. What part of Christianity is European? And then see, here is where I don't want to derail, right? I was trying to make a point.
Yeah, but you said something like, hold on. Okay. I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. Because I feel like I satisfactorily answered your question, but now we're off on this other topic, right? So if you're going to make the claim that the Jewish tradition is European, you're gonna fall apart there. So before you keep going with this thought, you're going to have to establish that.
Okay, so the Jewish tradition has not had its foot in history up until maybe the 1400 BC by the Hyksos. We know that Jews came from the Hyksos people who existed in somewhere in the region of what would be Egypt or what was called at that time Asia Minor, right? At that time, that's what it was called. So the Hyksos people are the ones who are the descendants of what we know today as being Jewish people.
Do you have a source for that, sir?
Yes, sir. The source is from Ivan Van Sertima in his book called Egypt Revisited.
Yes, that's what I thought. Thank you.
That's what you thought. Yeah, you don't even know who Ivan Van Sertima is. I know you're you're trying to just create some bubble around me. But anyway, let me just make this last point, right? The story of Noah is what I came to the stage and presented. And now we're derailing upon all this other the nuances of history, right? That history is evident, right? There is the evidence of what these ancient civilizations have existed prior and after Noah, right? So this whole flood idea is absolutely false. It's not true. But I guess people who need something to believe in, they gravitate towards it, they lean on it, because that's all they have. And it comes from a European.
All right, hold on. I don't.
There's nothing European here in my question.
Yeah.
You avoided it by saying European. What I asked you was you have to give an alternate. So okay, I'll give you an example. This is done in science all the time. We right now currently accept general relativity. We know there's a problem with general relativity because it breaks down into very small. But we don't have a better theory. So until you come up with a better theory, nobody's going to. Who doesn't have a better theory? Who doesn't? Society, humans. We don't have a better theory. Hold on, you're talking about you're talking about just an American. No, mankind, like humans without the earth. That's incorrect. Okay. Okay, so you're telling me that there's someone out there secretly that has a better theory than general relativity, but because I live in America, I never heard of it?
No,
I just want to remind you, I'm
so
holding an
you're just
iPhone in my
creating.
hand where I'm connected to the entire globe.
Okay, so you posture yourself as if you're some great wizard or something like that, right? But I'm just trying to say to you that the American standard is not the only standard throughout the world. You're talking about society, right? Societies are different.
Yes,
No, you have to be. You have to let me finish, right?
You have to stay on
That's what
top of your.
happens. That's what happens. No, you're interrupting.
No, you're interrupting me because you're derailing from what I'm trying to get to. I'll try for the last time. I can give up on you forever.
Well, give up. I don't. Hey, listen, man. You don't dictate.
You
the way I
are
live
coming
my
with a
life.
question. You're coming with a question, and I granted you have a good question. My point is, you think from that question you can deny an entire book of history, which I can show you that you should not be denying most of the events of the book. Now, you have a quick question. The question is, how did civilization repopulate itself so fast? That question is
No,
evident.
that's not the question. That's not how it populated so fast. There's no fast way to grow from a child. There is no fast way. So that's not the question. That's logical that that's not the question. You're creating that question. You're trying to push me past the point so that you don't have to deal with the understanding that this story is false, right? You don't want to deal with that. So now you're pushing past to a point where you can try to verify what you're trying to say to me. It's incorrect.
Doug, there's
It's
a
totally
better,
incorrect.
Doug, there's a better. I agree with you in your approach or your stance on the flood, but there are so many better ways to approach this. You're kind of falling short.
Well, if you think I'm falling short, right? It's you have the stage and the floor to present a better way for me to say that the archaeology and the anthropology, which is man's two-pronged test to prove human existence.
No, it's not.
That is the two. Yes, it is. It's infallible. That is the proof.
It's extremely fallible and
have
falsified multiple times.
No,
it's not.
no, sir.
No, it's
No,
not.
sir.
No, it's
No,
not.
sir. No, sir. So I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna land right. I know that's what you want to think, but you don't have. So then show me the proof. Show me the proof of Jesus exists. Show me the proof.
We can move the goalpost to Jesus if you want, but the point.
So go back to Noah. Show me the proof that Noah exists.
Okay, you obviously didn't listen to a word I said.
I know you don't want to. You don't want to take that. You don't want to take that mantra. I know. You want to make me look like I don't have the right way to present the facts that it doesn't exist.
The reason that Mir is pushing back on you, and first of all, Mir's not a Christian, just so you know. The reason he's pushing back on you is because you're coming in with premises that don't work. Like, show me the proof that Noah existed 4000 BC is just kind of a ridiculous thing to say. Like, show me the proof that Alexander the Great existed, and you're going to come up with far less than the proof for Noah.
Absolutely not. There is proof Alexander the Great exists.
There's also proof Noah
I was
existed.
waiting for you to answer that. No, it is definitely evidence that Alexander the Great. I was waiting for that.
Okay, I'm glad you were waiting for it. So when initially you were given the answer that the Bible can be consistent without Noah being the progenitor of all mankind, did you feel like you wanted to respond to that one? Concede that your argument kind of fell apart.
No, I don't see where my argument fell apart about 3000 to 4000 BC of a man that existed and allegedly replenished the earth at this time period to be the
Right. So
progenitor.
again, just to back all the way up, we don't need to claim that Noah single-handedly repopulated the earth. He repopulated the Ares.
Okay, that's not.
Yeah.
See, that's
There's the answer. That's the answer to your question.
Okay, that's your answer. Okay, I'm gonna leave
No.
it there.
That's the grammatical answer to your question. He repopulated the Ares. Now you would have to debate what you think the Ares is.
Well,
Right.
that's
confusion. That's confusion to the belief.
Exactly.
I know, that's
100%.
confusion to the belief.
No, that's not confusion at all. Not everyone will agree with FJ, but grammatically, no one can dispute that the word Eretz is defined, and I can show it to you multiple times in the Bible where it's used to a local area. It could also mean a country.
Yep, I did. I've read to him all the definitions, and this word is actually used over 2,000 times throughout the biblical text. But that was the first answer I gave him. But see, he's not really interested in Noah, because he says his theory here is that Jews are fake and that Europe influenced Christianity and that there's no, like, what's your actual point, Thug? How can we? Because we gave you an answer on Noah and Genesis. So what else? What's the problem here?
That was my only premise. I came to the stage.
Okay, you are welcome. You have. It has been explained to you how Noah does not need to conflict with the study of natural history and archaeology. How else can we help you today?
All right, that should be enough. Thank you very much.
All right, Truth, welcome to the stage. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right.
So my question is, and what's up, Jay Ford? Hey, my question is, oh yeah, Deuteronomy 18:18, the prophet like Moses. That was told in Acts 3:20 through 3:22. I think that Jesus was the prophet like Moses. Is that correct?
I don't know. I have Deuteronomy 18:18 pulled up. What was the other one?
Acts 3:20 through 22.
3 ESV. Let me look at it. How am I the one answering these
I don't
questions?
know what the ESV says, but I always go by the KJV.
Hey, what's going on, Truth?
What's happening, Jay Ford?
Chilling out, man.
Chilling like a villain.
So Deuteronomy 18:18 says, I will raise up from them a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I commanded him. Acts, what was this again? 3, starting at 17. And now, brothers, I know that you acted in ignorance, as did as did also your rulers. But what God foretold by the mouth of all the prophets, that his Christ would suffer, he thus fulfilled. Repent, therefore, and turn back, that your sins may be blotted out. The times of refreshing may come from the presence of the Lord, and that he may send the Christ appointed for you, Jesus, whom heaven must receive until the time for restoring all things, about which God spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets. Moses said, the Lord will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brothers. You shall listen to him in whatever he tells you. And it shall be that every soul who does not listen to that prophet shall be destroyed from the people. And all the prophets who've spoken, from Samuel and those who came after him, also proclaimed these days. I'm not sure that what's being spoken about in Acts would say that Deuteronomy 18 is specifically saying Christ is that prophet. Deuteronomy 18 is saying that prophets will be raised up, and Acts is echoing that sentiment.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 18:18 doesn't say that, but Acts chapter 3, verse 20 through 22. Is there anybody else, any Christian who recognizes Acts chapter 3 as...
No, look, you just have to read the whole thing. And all the prophets who have spoken, from Samuel and those who came after him, have proclaimed these days.
Yeah.
It's numbering many prophets.
Yeah, most Christians and Bible commentators say that Acts chapter 3 identifies Jesus as the prophet like Moses. But if you don't see it that way, then we don't have an issue.
No, I don't know. What's the rest of the question?
He's a Muslim. He's trying to get this over that this is Muhammad that's spoken about in Deuteronomy.
No, that's not what I'm getting at.
Sure.
If you don't see it. Oh, okay, you're a mind reader. So anyway.
Yep. Dealt with enough Muslims to know.
Oh my God, this guy's an idiot. That's not where I was going with this. So Acts, if you don't see Acts chapter 3 as identifying Jesus as the prophet like Moses, then there is no issue.
What do you mean, prophet like Moses? What do you mean?
Exactly what Deuteronomy 18:18 says. There would be a prophet like Moses.
But when you say like Moses, what does that mean? What are the implications of being like Moses, my friend?
Moses power.
So I don't know what your question. Why you're
literally, in what sense does it mean that he's a prophet like Moses?
Okay, can I try to explain this question?
Okay.
Like is a simile. So if I say something is hard like a rock, it means that it's hard like the rock, not that it's inanimate like the rock, not that it's round like the rock. In what similarity is that like music? So define like in which way?
Well, there would be a bunch of ways somebody could be like Moses.
That's precisely the question.
Right. So one that is most like Moses. I mean, this prophet is one of the prophets that the Jews were looking for. That's why when they sent, I think it was the Pharisees or somebody sent people to John the Baptist and said, they asked him who he was. They said, "Are you the Messiah?" He said, "No." They said, "Well, are you Elijah?" He said, "No." And they said, "Well, then are you that prophet?" And that prophet is the prophet like Moses. So it's an important question. If that prophet hasn't been identified, then you're still waiting on that prophet before Jesus can even return, unless you say that Jesus is that prophet.
Can I just guess that prophet is Muhammad? Is that where you're going?
That's not. I've told you that 3 times.
But is that prophet Muhammad in your estimation?
That's irrelevant. That's not why I came up here.
Uh-huh.
Most Christians identify that as the prophet like Moses.
All right, Chris, if I'm misreading this verse at this chunk in Acts 3, where they quote, this is Peter talking at the portico, right? So Peter quotes Moses, and then he says, "And all the prophets who've spoken from Samuel and those who came after him also proclaimed these days." So why would we need to say that the prophet like Moses? Do we need to say that the prophet like Moses was Christ, when at least the way Peter was talking about it in Acts, he's saying, you didn't listen to any of these guys? Like Peter is saying, you didn't listen to any of these guys, right? And he's saying, now you're rejecting Christ. Multiple prophets. He literally says Samuel and everyone who came after. So I don't know if I would place a pin on, like, Peter is specifically identifying that in Deuteronomy, that's exactly Christ. And no, it's literally saying all the prophets.
Maybe it's the translation.
Am I off there? Yeah, maybe,
you're
but let me check with Chris.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I want to
you're
make
not
sure I
off.
got that.
You're correct. Yeah, it's just basic hermeneutics. I mean, like, here's
Basic
the thing.
hermeneutics.
He had 3 offices, and so his 3 offices were prophet, priest, and king. And there are all specific things that those offices had specifically to Christ. His role as prophet is the greatest of the prophets because he is, God incarnate. Okay, so when Christ is giving his prophecies, they are greater than any of the other prophets. Even though the other prophets are infallible, this is the office of prophet that Christ fulfills. And so we're not waiting for another prophet.
She loves it.
Another prophet coming around. It's just, it's
Have
just
y'all got
silly.
anybody up here that knows the Bible besides J4?
Sir,
Wait.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hello? What's with that question?
Yeah, well, I mean, most Bible commentators know that Acts chapter 3 is identifying Jesus as the prophet like Moses.
But again, in what sense are you talking about like Moses? Again, you're reading things into the text to attempt to put your premise. Of course you are.
No, I'm not.
Like, you're reading a Muslim interpretation into the text.
Bro, listen, I was a Christian for 47 years. I know how I'm
Yeah, you were never a Christian. So let's just get that out of the way.
That's a cheap cop-out that Christians use. Oh, he was never a Christian.
Yeah. So tell me the gospel. What is the gospel?
Tell me the gospel in one sentence.
You were a Christian for 47 years. You should be able to tell me what the Christian gospel
means
is.
good news.
No. What is the gospel? What is the content of the good news? What is the good news? Go ahead, tell me. You were a Christian for 47 years. You should know.
According to you.
According to Christianity, what is the good news of the gospel? You were a Christian for 47 years. Please show us.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm asking you the question.
Yeah,
I came up here to ask you the question. You couldn't answer. But yeah.
My goodness, what is it with the trolls?
Wait, did you boot him? I was reading the commentaries to see if there actually is.
I just
consensus
booted
on
him to
this.
the audience. I didn't
okay,
boot him from the room. I just was like, he just kept talking, and I'm like, what?
Well, I wanted to know what if there are Christians that believe that the Deuteronomy prophecy of God raising the prophet from the Israelite? What if somebody believes that? What's the problem with that? Is there a problem with that?
So
what I'm trying to establish now is that he's correct in saying the prophet like Moses is Christ in the estimation of most Bible scholars, and I'm having a hard time establishing that.
I've always believed that.
Okay, well then you could have answered his question. There you go. Felix believes that.
And when it says a prophet like Moses, that's where the key is right there. In which manner is he like Moses?
Which Mayor elucidated my question better than I did, and he refused to answer. Because, look, this is a Muslim apologetic. This is very common. Their Muslim apologetic is that Christ does not fulfill all of the data points of a prophet like Moses, and so then we have to be waiting for another, and that prophet is Muhammad. That is the Muslim apologetic.
So wait a minute, we're still waiting on Muhammad. I thought he already died. Man.
No. I was going to say the argument was, instead of Jesus fulfilling all of those like Moses, it is that the claim would become, hey, look at this. Here's a prophet that completes it and is, quote, like Moses.
When did Muhammad heal somebody?
Okay, I found a commentary. This is the pulpit commentary that says that, I don't know what date this is from, but it's written in a pretty dated way. But it says that the consensus here at the time that this was written was that the
Norwegian mythology because of how
Okay, everybody, this is Adrian. What up, Scott? Book club? Book club? I saw you put it in. It's not Kevin Spacey, that's Alex Jones. Tell them the joy agents recording the room and love streaming them to YouTube. The Trump. Listen to all the lives. The Trump Center is listening to all the lies. Naughty, naughty, not nice. Naughty, not nice. The Trump Center is listening to all the lies. Naughty, not nice. Tell them the joy of Adrian is recording the room, love streaming them to YouTube. The Trump Center is listening to all the lies. Naughty, not nice. Oh, shooting good story. God, look at that. Still, this is childish politics. You should engage Torah and God with a book instead of these childish politics. Join the book club. Join the book club. We're listening to Divine. We're listening to a Divine Krishna chant. Hare
promotes conservatism, but the worst for
You wore the ribbon. You wore the ribbon. We born in Saloon. She wore the ribbon. Bought herself a line. The magician.
So great.
every point of the pandemic, and yeah, well, I never. And then you just start like going.
It's good. Football's called back on the truck. That was so funny.
Vara time for a quick video tour?
Well, let's try it right now.
No worries. I'll send you a video walkthrough and we can go through it when you free up. We can talk through timeline and next steps as well.
Okay, thanks. That'll be fantastic.
Oh, wow. This place has the kind of space you've been looking for.
Yeah, space. Space will be great.
Expertise. Just one of the many ways an agent who's a realtor works for you.
Hello? Are you looking to buy your next house?
I'm also commenting, and so you can disagree.
So, guys, real quick, what I want to do is I want to have them mature.
How did I say wrong?
Hold on, Brock, mute up. Guys, Jason's talking. Let's be respectful. Let's have a mature conversation. And again, we got a woman in here who's been totally silent, being respectful, waiting her turn to speak. It's not a good look if the woman is here acting more mature and more.
But she can come off mic.
No, she hasn't come off point. What are you talking about? She's not.
I ain't gonna lie. She been doing her thing, bro.
Right.
That, bro.
So let's let Jason finish his point, guys. Let's just be mature and be adults about this. But go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter where you go because the behavior, once we talk amongst each other, do we shut it down when they come in the room? Or just keep it going? Because you know what? I don't want to talk with females the way that I talk to my brothers. And then sometimes it reminds me, maybe the way that I'm talking to my brothers ain't flying, even though it could be a joke, it could be sarcasm, it could be anything. The way you conduct yourself in them or without them is the way that people are going to remember your frequency, your reputation. So it's something to notice. It's not, hey, if you don't feel like to change it, don't fucking change it. If you feel like, you know what, there's one woman in here, then don't mean I need to act like an ass gun. Well, she came in our environment, okay, but we still conduct and hold ourselves to her truth.
Clubhouse, and I don't like that.
Well, I could give two fucks.
Give it to me.
Because you know what, Brock?
Give it to me.
To me, you're just responding because you're inconveniently emotional out of pocket. That's what you're at.
Guys,
Brock,
you being emotional, bro. Like,
Brock, I put you down in the kitchen. You're inebriated or something.
Well, I think that
the answer is yes, but it's not the reason I think it's I was brought up back as trans male friends, right? That's just how I was. That's what I think. The reason I stopped talking away around women is because I don't even have to explain that. Right, I'm looking on my phone and I can go and like, okay, this is cool. Now, I'm around my business. What is
bachelorette party, bro. It's something like a bachelorette party, but a girls' night, they kind of like, snuck in one time, bro. They all in lingerie, they all sitting in big popsicles and talking crazy, and but nobody was getting married, so yeah, I was they weren't, it went out with them too, bro. It's just, the problem is that it's not a slumber party either, bro. But the problem is, though, bro, is that, like I said, bro, they're villainizing everything that comes to the dominator of what a man is. It's like they want to recreate men. And it's, to me, I can't really blame women because it's like a programming thing. You have to think about how women are made to, like, I'm not saying be followers to everything, but they're made to follow something. And right now, they're following the government at all costs. They're doing everything that the government wants them to do. So it's like
you almost had a woman president, though. Think about that.
If the government tells them to do this, or if not even just the government, if social media tells them to do this, or tells them that this is cool. Like how everybody wants these fucking slushies now. What's the fucking ninja slushies, bro? All they had to do was make one post about the fucking ninja slushies. Now every woman in fucking United States wants a ninja slushie, bro. It's just, it's too much programming going on. What'd you say? See,
the Stanley Cups.
Man, Stanley Cups. I'm so happy my girl don't like Stanley Cups.
Yeah, but there ain't nothing stopping you from starting your own abortion clinic. You can compete with Planned Parenthood. You just ain't got the balls to murder children.
Exactly. Nobody talks about hockey.
That nigga said,
I'm confused.
Are we confused in the room? What are we actually trying to do here? Are we supporting women? Oh my dear Lord.
All right, to bring it back here, you know, in
thank you, Keith.
Remember Connery in the 1960s was getting interviewed by Playboy. If people remember this,
is some gay ass shit.
And he said that like it's fine to hit women, right? He said that hey, like it all depends on situation, but like if a woman is acting a certain way, it's fine to hit them to make sure that they understand their place as a husband. And then they were like, how dare he say that? And then they interviewed him again in the 1980s, and he said, yeah, I'm not going to back down. That's my comments. And everyone to this day thinks that Sean Connery is this like woman-hating, terrible man. But really look at the culture, especially in the 50s where Sean Connery grew up, and look at the culture now, right? When women have dominated the cultural movement, it's promiscuity, it's literally the highest STD rates.
But Keegan, you're a privileged white man. Your parents own a farm.
Right.
So you've had everything.
Can we move him down, please? Like the rest of the room don't want to be subject. Thank you.
So here's the thing. Here's my point is that it's just really interesting that everyone thinks that Sean Connery, when we're talking about domestic abuse here, that how dare Sean Connery say that? But when we look at the culture that surrounded the 1950s, where Sean Connery grew up, it was a culture of high success marriage rates. It was a culture that was booming when it came to families. Like I don't understand why people really get angry, like that someone hits their wife. I'm not saying that hitting your wife is right or wrong here. I'm just saying that let's just look at how the cultures were and which one's better. And I think everyone agreed that 1950s culture was much better than what we see today.
Yeah, it was so much better. Jim Crow, let's start there. Women couldn't have vast majority of positions. I mean, shit, Keegan, where would you be without your ability to smack your wife around?
Yeah, but Brad, white neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, they were all safe in the 1950s.
Don't come off mic. What's going on, Brad? Good morning. Good to see you, man. Yeah, I mean, this sounds like some fuckery here. The 50s were fucking great. Asbestos-lined walls, lead fucking paint, lead in your water. You're fucking, hey, it was great. Monosodium glutamate shoved down your throat. At every angle, toxins in the air, in the water, in fucking land, your home. Yeah, the culture was so fucking great. The culture wasn't fucking great in the 50s. What are you, fucking retarded? Are you fucking moronic?
I mean, I can ask my dad. He says that the neighborhoods were very safe in the 50s.
Stop jumping off mic.
Oh, he's got to get his pontification in.
That actually exist within
culture has actually gotten better. That's the one thing I will say. Every generation produces a new culture that actually takes the moralities that it learned from the past culture.
Don't come off mic, motherfucker. Don't come off mic, motherfucker.
Or like, not like, I don't know. It's weird now. And now you're not allowed to say faggot.
Yeah, that's crazy. I grew up saying faggot. Say faggot forever.
Yeah, it's impossible to make me stop. I don't care how many times I get banned from things. I'm still gonna say it.
Yeah. And people are like, stop, you can't say the F word.
Well, the F word, the N word, the J word, you know, the A word.
Oh, no, not that.
Uh-oh. Pardon me.
I'm sorry, you're fine.
Was that there, bro? You gotta watch the shit.
I'm so glad that I've thoroughly discussed it. Every room, nobody wants. Everybody hates Edmund. That's the name of the show. Don't come off mic. Don't come off mic. You are not allowed to speak. You are not allowed to speak.
Okay, thank you for letting us know.
They're organizing the resistance. Joy's recording the room, FYI. Joy is recording the room, FYI. Let's see if they actually kick me from the room just for posting that in the chat.
Brad, that was not the majority. And men weren't coming home just beating the shit out of
I didn't say it was, but not having the ability to do so, that was the culture back then. So, like, you can't, and here's my thing, Sig, like, I hear weaklings like this all the time say that we need to go back to the 50s. You want masculinity, stop asking for it. That's not masculine. It's not sexy. Women don't want to fuck you. Women don't want to beg you down when you have to beg for masculinity. I want to go back and be a man. Please let me. Sounds so pathetic and weak and disgusting. You should just shoot yourself at this point because you can't fucking figure out what a man is. I don't know what to tell you, young guys, but stop begging for fucking masculinity and to be a man. Start acting like one. You fucking take it. That's what a man does. That's what masculinity is. You don't have to define it. You don't have to ask for it.
Such a tough man.
You don't get it at a fucking coat check. You can't order it through a drive-thru. But start.
I'm a man!
Start taking care of shit. Stop fixing your home. Start fixing your fucking marriage. Start fixing your fucking kids so they don't grow up to be school shooters and retarded fucking OnlyFans models on fucking line.
I'm a
man. How hard is that to be a man? Be accountable, take responsibility, stop bitching and whining that it's everybody else's fault, when in fact,
I am a man!
It's your front knuckle fucking muscle hamster wannabe fucking face's problem. Look at it that way and go forward. Otherwise, sit down and stop crying with a list on fucking line or on TV or anywhere else and saying, I don't know what masculinity is. There you go, Sig. There's my rant for the day. I'm going to have
You really need to start a podcast. Today's rant with Bradley. Every day there will be a new topic.
What's going on, Angel? Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Sig. How are you? Brad just said everything to Keegan what I've been wanting to say for the past year, so that was good.
So here's the thing, because I know where Keegan's coming from. So the point Keegan was trying to make is he was talking about relationships. And what he was saying, Brad, is that you went off into racism and lead in the pipes and all that other stuff. But when we talk about racism, I mean, not racism.
There's lead in the pipes. There's asbestos in the walls.
I was listening to, you guys know Harry Houdini, the magician from the early 1900s.
Houdini is, yeah.
So I was those women sounded totally different than the women today. If you took how those women sounded and the way they spoke and their cadence and their tone, they were extremely feminine compared to if you listen to women on a recording on Clubhouse, for instance. Listen to women talking and converse on Clubhouse. There was just a certain level of femininity back then to where I think, women just, I think women understood back then what their place was, and they understood the difference that, hey, these are men, we're fucking women, they operate totally different, so therefore I'm not going to try to invade into their fucking space and dominate their space and try to make them acquiesce to me. They're just men, they do their own fucking thing over there, we're women, we do our thing over here, and it seems like those women were fine with that, they were content with that. But it seems like the modern women now, it's, no, feminism has taught me that we're equal, and because we're equal, I can tramp and stampede on any fucking space I want, and the minute I feel uncomfortable, shame the fuck out of the men, and now you all must do what the fuck I want you to do so I feel comfortable and I feel superior. What do you guys?
So when you say that the women had more femininity back then, right? And they're quote please. It's also, you have to look at the men as well. You know what I mean? Like, they were a lot dapper, they had chivalry, they're a lot more, they're not over here being like, oh, well, you might as well suck a fucking dick if that bitch is fucking beating your ass. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't talk like that either. You know what I mean? So I think it's like, it goes hand in hand, right? So it's, you can have a very, like, feminine girl and a very, like, submissive, maybe like, traditional woman, but you're not gonna get her by like saying suck a dick, bitch, fuck you, slut, tramp. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the energy that you're
exactly. That's why I ask women the question: what is your most redeeming quality, or what do you care about? So for me, it's confidence. So if you're not, confident in your own self, in your own.
Listen here, wait. Don't cut her up. Like, I don't know what. Like, clearly, her masculinity isn't going to dominate over a woman. So, like, if you're that feminine that you can't let her finish to refute her point, then sit down in the audience and come up in between answers. Got it. There you go, muscle hamster. You got it today. We got you, twat. Well, go ahead. Go ahead,
I'm done. So I feel like roles have been reversed, right? We find a lot of men very emotional, right? Having trouble controlling their feelings, and you know what I mean. So I do hear like a lot of women on here, especially on Clubhouse, they're like, you know what I mean? It's wretched. But the point is that like I don't even know what the point is. We're going everywhere. But what I'm saying is just like, a woman is a woman. It's just like, you kind of have to like, understand her or not, but we're evolving. Times are changing. So it's like, get with it. We're not in the 50s, we're not in the 60s. Like, we have social media, we have like content, just because I listen to Cardi doesn't mean I'm like, have a wop, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like finding those people, but also like Brad was saying, it's like asking for, what is it, for dominance and respect and stuff.
Okay, welcome back to the 1950s, everybody.
are photographers ditching their expensive cameras for this NASA super zoom lens? Because it clips on.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where those treetops listen and children listen to hear sleigh bells and the snow. Then I am dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops listen and the children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Yeah, dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write.
May those days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time.
Hey, I know you're in the middle of something, but I wonder if you just take a few seconds to pray with me real quick. In the name of the Father, and Son.
Oh no!
Happy holiday. Happy holiday. Happy holiday. Happy holiday. While the merry bells keep ringing. Happy holiday.